Welcome, Twisted viewers, to another Twisted Tuesday. Today, Sarah and Kyle are taking a trip to Miami Beach where the line between their reality and their dreams blur. So grab your poles and get to your boats for this twisted tale called My Final Destination 2. Sarah paddled out to the deeper water, her surfboard skimming across the crystal-clear waves of Miami Beach. The sun warmed her skin, and she felt the thrill of the ocean beneath her, alive and unpredictable. She waited for the perfect wave, her eyes scanning the horizon, the calmness of the moment grounding her in what felt like reality. When the wave finally came, it was massive and perfect. Sarah caught it with ease, her body moving in harmony with the board as she rode the crest. The wind rushed past her, the water spraying her face, and she felt invincible. But then, out of nowhere, something slammed into her side, knocking her off the board. She plunged into the water, disoriented, the world above a distant blur. That's when she felt it, the sharp, piercing pain in her leg. She screamed, the sound muffled by the water, and frantically kicked at whatever had latched onto her. It was a shark, its eyes cold and lifeless, its jaws locked around her leg. Panic took over. She punched at the shark, trying to free herself, but it was relentless. With a sickening crunch, it tore her leg completely off. Blood clouded the water, and Sarah's vision began to fade. The shark circled back, its jaws wide open, and in one swift motion, it clamped down on her torso. She felt its teeth sinking into her lungs and her stomach. Her entire body was consumed by pain. And then, everything went black. Sarah jolted awake, her heart pounding in her chest. She was in bed, drenched in sweat, her breath coming in ragged gasps. It was just a dream. Just a dream. She looked over at her husband, Kyle, who was sound asleep beside her. She shook him awake, desperate to tell him what she had just experienced. "Kyle, wake up," she whispered urgently. "I had the most horrible dream." "What happened?" Kyle asked. Sarah told him everything, her voice trembling as she recounted the shark attack, the vividness of the pain, and the terror that gripped her even now. Kyle listened patiently, then pulled her into his arms. "I know it felt real, but it was just a dream. We can't cancel our trip because of a nightmare. It's your mind playing tricks on you." She nodded, trying to convince herself that he was right. It was just a stupid dream. The ocean was calling, and they had been planning this trip for months. Nothing would ruin it. The next morning, they packed up and headed to Miami Beach, the excitement of the trip pushing the memory of the dream to the back of Sarah's mind. The sun was shining, the ocean sparkled like 1,000 diamonds, and everything felt normal. They checked into their hotel and wasted no time heading to the water, their surfboards tucked under their arms. The moment they hit the beach, Kyle ran straight into the ocean, eager to catch the first wave. Sarah followed, though a nagging unease lingered at the edge of her thoughts. She watched Kyle catch a wave almost immediately, riding it perfectly to shore. He turned to her, grinning. "Beat that," he called out playfully. Sarah laughed, pushing the dread down. "Watch me." She paddled out, catching a wave that seemed to rise just for her. She rode it with a confidence that made her forget her earlier fear, feeling the thrill of the surf beneath her. But then, as she glanced back, she saw Kyle riding a wave of his own, a massive one that towered over him. He was inside the tunnel of water, a perfect ride. But something was wrong. Kyle's board shot out of the wave, but he wasn't on it. The wave crashed down, and in an instant, the water around his board turned red. Sarah's heart dropped as she heard a distant, terrified scream. She turned and saw him far from his board, flailing in the water. "Help! It's a shark!" he yelled, his voice carrying across the waves. She froze in horror as the scene unfolded. The water turned a deep red, and Kyle screamed as the shark bit his leg completely off. Then she saw the shark leap out of the water, its jaws wide open. It descended on Kyle in one swift motion, sinking its teeth into Kyle's lungs and stomach. And with one final bite, the shark swallowed him whole. Sarah screamed, a sound of pure terror and helplessness. It was then that she realized the truth. It wasn't her in her dream, she was seeing things through Kyle's eyes. Her dream had been a warning. Not for her, but for Kyle. And now, the ocean had claimed him, just as it had foretold. Thanks for joining us on this twisted tale called My Final Destination 2. Sarah and Kyle were giving a warning and decided not to take it, making Kyle shark food. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe to help my channel grow. And smash that bell icon to never miss an episode. And remember, swimming with sharks leads to sleeping with fishes.